Hey guys, I'm gonna do a recap on Monday. We had some really nice play on JAN today. So this one was starting to move pre-market, squeezing from $3 to $7. I did not catch any of it. I did long the bounce at the morning wash, right? Its stock sold off from $7 all the way down to $5.20, and that's where I got in to long the bounce and got in and sold on the way up. And I should have just left it. As you can see, I tried to add some more small size again, seeing that it could potentially reclaim VWAP and squeeze higher. Nope, bought some more here, stopped out on small size, tried again, stopped out, so gave back some profit. So which is really frustrating. And I tried it one more time at this volume breakout midday, seeing that maybe it could this time try to retest VWAP and squeeze higher. No, it didn't happen. Sold everything up here for like a tiny like 10-15 cents. But in hindsight, of course, I should have just left it after the successful morning bounce. So definitely gonna remember that moving forward. So next stock is AQST. This one was really frustrating. It was a pretty big winner on the day. I shorted from 780s down to 717. And the reshort was the frustrating part because I gave back a lot of the profit from pre-market short. I reshorted at the open here, seeing the weakness is cracking beneath, seeing that it's probably gonna crack beneath $7. So I reshorted and I started watching JAN. Right, I had JAN on watch. I was trying to bounce JAN at the same time. I just kind of left AQST. So the next time I looked around, it was retesting VWAP. I was thinking, oh, okay, like this will be the area for me to add on this bounce, right? Trying to still the same thesis, shorting it all the way down. And after I reshorted, I forgot about it. Like, I know this is a very, very stupid mistake. I only set hard stops on full size. So when it's smaller sizes, I just kind of let it work. I totally forgot about it on the other screen. So I was playing JAN, bouncing that stock. And the next time I turned around, it was retesting highs at $8. I was, holy crap. Oh my God, I gave back so much profit. Such a stupid mistake. And I covered everything. Like, I'm not just gonna like let it work and I try to see, no. When it's retesting highs after such a small reclaim, I have to get out, right? Because my thesis of a short is no longer valid. And after I cover it just starts dumping. But I reshorted here, but a smaller size, not full size. Reshorted and I covered here, and after I cover it just dumps. So you guys should just short everything I cover, basically. But definitely the bad trade on the day because I gave back so much profit. So gotta learn this lesson and hopefully I don't make the same stupid mistake again in the future. So we had another gap up on another biotech stock, CCXI. This one actually reminded me a lot of KRTX. So I was really disappointed when it sold off. But you just gotta react to the price action and not be too biased. Yes, I was long biased. So I longed here at the pre-market dip level and I longed it at the open as well, adding to full size when there was a lot of buying volume coming in, right? Lots of volume pouring in, and the stock was, it tries to push towards the $36 and $37, but every time it tried that, you can see these are 3-minute candles. It pushed up and immediately get rejected, and obviously that's not a good sign. But I was trying to be patient, trying to let it squeeze, and so I waited 1, 2, 3. Waited 10 minutes in total for that. And when it popped, I sold a little bit just in case. I sold some at $36, but I still had, half left, trying to see if it can retest the pre-market highs around $37. But at this reject, when it popped high and immediately rejected all the way down to the lows, that's when I got stopped out. Because this price action is not the price action of a strong stock that should be breaking above all-time highs and breaking above pre-market highs. That's not how KRTX traded last week, and you just gotta trade according to the price action. So I was all out from this long here, and when I was just watching this, I saw this breaking down beneath the pre-market lows, and that's pivot line for me to go short. So I shorted here. I should have added at least retest here, but I didn't. Shorted here, and then when it washed down, I covered majority, reshorted when the stock was extremely weak, and there was so much selling every time it tries to pop up towards the $31 area. A lot of selling, that's where you see all these wick candles, and that's why I added and covering into the breakdown. And as you can see, my last cover here, it went a little bit lower to another $27 and rebounded. So that's the play on CCXI today, both long and short, reacting to the price action. The other one, BPTH. This one's really simple, a pre-market pump. I think they had earnings release yesterday or something, or some stupid penny stock pump. Shorted on the squeeze up on low volume actually, only 9,000 buying volume. Shorted, got filled some more here. I had some orders up here around $9, but didn't pop that high. Shorted and covering into all the washes. And then you can see it sold off even more to 670s, but my best cover was 740s. But that's okay, small wins add up. And the other one, CLVS. This one, so the plan was to short the retest of the previous day close, right? This stock has been one that tends to be bought up on weakness. And every time it gaps and tries to push, it can fail the breakout. Right? So that's how it's been trading in the past couple of weeks. And today coming in, that's the plan for today. I want to see it reject previous day close. You can see it popped above it just before the market opens and slammed down right as the market opens. And there's a lot of selling. You can see this candle. Lots of selling volume, and that's where I scaled in short, risking the previous day close. Scaled in short and added down here, covering some into the wash, re-adding on this VWAP reject. When it broke above VWAP, I covered some just in case it starts squeezing up again. Because this stock, like I said, tends to be bought up weakness. So I just want to protect myself. And I still have a majority on. And when it gets rejected, and that's where I started covering again and covering into the wash. And as you can see this time around, this CLVS reclaimed the weakness, reclaimed VWAP, and squeeze up red to green to the highs to 11.15. So very impressive strength on this one. HEPA, okay. This one was a little play on the day. HEPA, another midday pump. I was expecting a sell-off just like BPTH that we just talked about earlier. There was no news in the morning when this was being pumped up, and that's why I shorted. Shorted covering into the wash, and I was expecting a $4 breakdown of this level and gapped filled down to 380s, 370s. When it starts holding up, and it was around midday, around noon, and that's when it started covering. You know, like if it breaks down later, I can always come back and reevaluate a short. But it wasn't trading according to my plan, which is the breakdown of $4. When it starts holding, a lot of times these penny stocks get squeezed up near the end of the day. So that's what happens. So this will be in play again tomorrow. Very impressive though, like going from 450s to 580s after hours. Whew. Okay, last one, a very nice one on the day, KERN. So this one was actually on the free weekend watch list, maybe last week or the week before, and it was in the intraday pre-market watch list, I think, again, during the week last week. So I was really familiar with the daily charts, right? I always chart out these areas on my Thinkorswim platform, and I leave the lines on, because that allows me to be really familiar with the support and resistance on the daily chart. So when I heard Benzinga Charlie talking about, KERN squeezing up, I remember the daily chart setup. I remember the chart is setting up for a huge breakout. And that's why I didn't hesitate too long when I hear the alert from Benzinga, which is how, I encourage you to effectively use alerts, not by just blindly following what people say or what your scanners say. But when you hear an alert that kind of correspond to what you had planned already with a ticker that you're familiar with, then that's what I did. That's why I had no problem buying this alert. So I bought KERN at around $8, and I was actually got halted. I bought into the halt. Right, so I was holding this at $8 into the halt. And I started selling on the unhalt. Started selling on every single pop. And I know ultimately it has room to 930s on this wick here. Room to 930s, 940s area. So when it breaks $9, that's when I start selling. I sold everything up here. And after it washed down, I was trying to, see if it can do one of those wash out and reclaim VWAP midday and squeeze even higher. But the volume was drying out. So I got some here very small and was trying to see if I can reclaim this VWAP. But the volume was just so low. You can see the buying volume is not higher than the selling volume. So That's why I sold it here and I just let it be at the end of the day. And the loser on the day, JAN. This one just didn't go anywhere. You can see I started scaling in pre-market short and just kind of started grinding. There was no buying volume, no selling volume. So I never added, just covered for like a 10-cent loss. Small size. So a nice way to end a pretty low volume day like today. So today actually I wasn't expecting much to happen because it's the day before Thanksgiving. I thought volume was going to be low, there won't be much breakout and follow through, but it turned out to be pretty nice. This one, CLVS, it was a daily breakout, held the daily gap, held yesterday's high around 1150, and after this, you can see this line, after this breaks, it has room all the way up to 1280s. And I didn't perform that well on it. You can see I sold way too soon and it spiked all the way to 1265 without me. But it's just tiny trade. I wasn't, the price action was pretty nice to be honest, but I should have stayed in it longer or add on this dip around VWAP area. But tiny win on the day on this one. The other one is MYOV. This one, now look at, this is a CLVS daily chart. And if you look at MYOV, looks pretty similar, right? And they're both biotechs. So biotech's been going crazy, but it's the exact same setup as CLVS. Held a daily gap, after it breaks the $17 area from this wick on November 19th, it has room all the way to keep on pushing towards 1870s. We didn't go to $18 today, but I think we can see more follow through on this on Friday when we come back from holidays. MYOV was one of the stocks on watch on the free weekend watch list, so hopefully you guys played it as well. And a really nice one on the day is HEPA. So this stock is actually the one I shorted yesterday on the pump with no news early in the morning on November 26th, and when it starts holding $4, it started holding and then ran after hours. And today, actually, I didn't expect it to hold this kind of after hours gap. You can see it started selling off pre-market, yes, but it never dipped beneath the previous day close line around 460s area. And when it starts holding, that's when I got interested in long. When it reclaimed the 515 area, another pre-market support, when it reclaimed, it was trying to push and some volume was pretty nice on the stock, and that's why I longed a little bit. But early on, to be honest, the price action wasn't the cleanest. It keeps on whipping around the 530, 520s area, and that's why you can see I got long here and I quickly sold some. I didn't want to get chopped up in this kind of price action, and it did dip back down to the 490s area, but it never went red on the day. So in the midday, when it starts squeezing, this is all shorts getting squeezed out, right? Everyone's trying to short this because you bet if I thought about shorting this today, no, you bet other people did as well. So this is all a short squeeze. Look at all this volume coming in. This is a low float stock. Was it 1 or 3 million shares float? Doesn't matter. It's a low float. When volume comes in, everyone's buying and a short squeezing, being squeezed out. They have to buy to cover, and that's where it's squeezed from 530s up to $6, and that's why I got in. Actually got in after the unhalt, so really similar way as I played KERN yesterday. So you're basically buying the volatility, betting that all the shorts have to cover, and that's why I got in after the first dip around $6 after the unhalt, and added, sold some on the way up and selling even more to 660s. Why 660s? Because there's a lot of resistance in 660s. It was around this area, right? Up around, there's a wick right here. You can see 680s is the wick right here, and then up here there's even more resistance around 720s and then 770s and then $8. So that's why I was selling into every push. I wasn't gonna outstay my welcome, and it just kind of start chopping around and selling off, and then they did the same thing again it did earlier, reclaimed VWAP, volume comes in and squeezed everyone out. And I didn't participate at the end of the day, long or short on this one. But a pretty nice play on the day given that the volume was so low on the day before the holidays. So HEPA was a nice one. And some small loser, KERN, trying to long the red to green, volume didn't come in, so I cut it. So nice little tiny loss on Kern, and some other small ones that I didn't get filled much on. NYSE short the pump after I see this exhaustion candle, a lot of selling. After the pump, I start shorting, covering into all the washes. And same thing as SPEX. Same thing, it's a late day pump. A lot of pump stocks being pumped up today with all the volatility halt. If the first three flew, like after the halt, it keeps on squeezing, like ASLN, and there's another one, PNRL. This one was trying to do the same thing, but it's near the end of the day, people are leaving, people are taking the day off from the holidays, and the volume just wasn't as strong as all the previous names. And when it's happened too many times within one given day, people are gonna know what's going on. It's gonna get too crowded. Like everyone's just jumping into every single halted stock. You can't expect the same thing to happen where after the unhalted stock keeps on squeezing, like HEPA and PNRL, right? You can't expect the same thing to happen. So this is when it gets too crowded with everyone chasing, when everyone's on the same side long, it's not gonna keep on pushing. And that's why I went in short and covering into every single wash. And it dropped down to 120 where it came from near the end of the day. So it's Friday, market closes early at 1 p.m. Eastern time today. So coming in today, I'm expecting the volume to be relatively low, kind of like Wednesday, where there's low volume but a lot of penny stock pumps. So that's kind of what we're looking for. So a few tickers traded. The first trade I want to go over is SORL. So this one was up on definitive merger agreement for going private transaction. Now this is a potential to merger price at 470s. It's not confirmed yet, so that's why you still need to have your set risk set. So that's why I said $4 is the risk level and the key to hold to see more upside. And we can potentially see 450s, 480s, and obviously 470s. That's the merger agreement price potentially. That's why I longed pre-market when the news came out. I thought the risk reward was pretty good. Again, the float it's not a low float, but 7 million. That's still pretty good for a small cap. It'll still move if there's enough volume. So that's why I longed 409 added, 418 added even more, 422, and after that I had about 414 average, and I was comfortable having that risk still be at $4. And you can see it never, after when it opened, the volume came pretty strong. All the buying volume started squeezing right away, and that's why I took some profit here at 430 and took some more at pre-market highs around 440s. And I was hoping for a continuation to keep on squeezing up towards that 470s level that we just talked about, and just kind of starts chopping, and then like it just kind of looks kind of weak and looks like it's double top here around the 440s area and couldn't break and hold above pre-market highs. And that's why I trimmed my position here and got out. And just kind of grind it up at the end of the day, and we'll see what this brings for us next week on this ticker. Oh, the other one was also a similar momentum play, but this one is, a continuation from the pump from Wednesday. Wednesday, we see this kind of volatility, a lot of halts on this stock, ran from $1.80s all the way to $4. So today, you bet a lot of people are trying to short this stock, right? But pre-market, it was actually regaining that important $3 mark. The $3 mark is kind of like the pivot I'm looking at. If it holds $3, we can see it retest Wednesday's highs and potentially go higher. And that's why I said $3 is a key level on the daily to hold. And obviously, I didn't know. You can see, I only thought, 420, 475. I didn't know it could go to $7. But, again, it's not exactly a low float. It's a 27 million float, but it's proven to us in the past few days that it can really squeeze when there's a lot of volatility and momentum to the upside. And that's why I longed the first dip. It actually squeezed up to a high of 560s and pulled back really drastically to a sub $5. So that's why I got in my first position, small size at 470s. Because really I wanted more of a major pull back to the 420s area, 430s, but I never got it. So that's why this starter position is, this is a very long position, and I was selling into the push towards 580s. I never want to outstay my welcome. And after this candle, it just keeps on squeezing to $7. And I was actually out of this initial position when it was in $7. I was already out, and I added back in when it started pulling back really drastically. That's why I got long on this dip. You can see this dip right here, 570s, and I added when the momentum was still strong. There's still a lot of buying volume coming in. I added some more at $6. I was selling into every single push. I wasn't gonna try to wait for it to, potentially retest $7 and $8, because like at the end of the day, you look at this dirty daily chart, like like these spikes are not gonna last, right? This is just purely a momentum play. So that's why I was selling everything into it. I wasn't gonna hold, and it just kind of starts like dripping down, and there was no more long for me after that. The other one, CLVS. So CLVS, this stock actually, I could have done a lot better. Like this initial entry is definitely not great. I'm trying to long the same major pullback, the same play as I did on ASLN, but this one I should have waited a little bit longer and added here and just got in here and not here, because like this is a parabolic upside move. Whenever the stock has a parabolic move to the upside, the pullback will also be parabolic to the downside, just like this one. Right? So it's not the same stock, but if you can see, the bounces on the parabolic move to the downside are really weak. So CLVS, so definitely this initial entry is definitely not great. But I understand the risk and the reward, and that's why you have to size according to your risk. And that's why I was comfortable adding a lot bigger here, thinking that, okay, this is more ideal of a pullback to get into. So I got in here full size, was selling into the pop, and when it proved to be very weak and couldn't hold $5, that's when I stopped out the rest. And I tried to go back. You can say I definitely overtraded on this ticker a little bit, and I do agree with you. And I got back in, I was selling some, trimming my position when seeing that this stock, the price action got really, really weak. And I was sold everything here. I wasn't gonna try to, retest the $16, because the price action here, the bounce was really weak, and there wasn't that much buying coming in. It's completely different than the parabolic move to the front side. That's why you don't want to outstay your welcome when you're loaning these kind of bounces. So definitely an interesting week. Thanksgiving holidays, the volume is relatively low. But when there's low volume, there tends to be a lot of these penny stock pumps. Like we saw with ASLN, HEPA, and a few other stocks from yesterday. With those stocks, yeah, you can totally loan the pumps like I did here. But you just need to be nimble and be able to get out before the tide turns to the other side, right? You can see this never really bounced. It just kind of like, slowly drip down with all the loans giving up. So hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.